Hello my loves and welcome back to my sketchbook, and huge thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Today I'm working on a spread inspired by some poinsettia petals that I pressed while I was clearing up all my Christmas decorations, so I thought it would be nice to just write a quick little journal of my time this past holiday season. I wanted to go for a vintage look. I'm finding myself more and more drawn to that kind of style. I absolutely adore old books and just the charm of found items and old relics. I actually got the idea to stain this paper with watercolour from a Skillshare class that I took that was specifically about adding a vintage look to your journal. The class was taught by Helen Colebrook, who I also avidly follow here on YouTube. You must check her out. But in this particular class, she really went into her process and techniques, which in turn helped me feel more confident in giving it a go myself. And I find Skillshare is wonderful for building on your existing passions or skills, just deepening your knowledge on things that you're interested in, but also providing so much room and potential to discover something entirely new to learn and sink your teeth into. Skillshare offer thousands of classes on all sorts of topics like illustration and design, building a business, even languages. I think it's the perfect platform to make the most of this year, to develop new skills and to take your creativity up a notch. As an online learning community, Skillshare's classes are easily accessible, nice and digestible in your own time, and affordable at $10 for an annual subscription. Now, as I've said, I'm really interested in getting more into creative journaling, and I've already spotted a few classes on there that I think will really help in that. More from Helen and a few others that I think I will link below. I also have a link that gives you 2 free months of premium access to however many classes you're interested in, so check that out if you're looking to make 2020 a year of personal and creative development. Now onto today's topic. If you do happen to want to improve your art, one of the ways that you'll always be told is most effective is to spend more time on it, to work on it every day. But somehow life gets in the way. You don't have enough time in your day after school or work or eating and socializing and exercising and cleaning and taking care of assignments or kids. To make time to just draw can sometimes feel like a waste, and if not, it might just feel impossible. Now, I'm lucky, this is my job, I can spend time on drawing, I kind of have to, but even so, I found myself feeling guilty for making art when I could be being quote-unquote more productive, or I get all my other work out the way just to feel too tired or unmotivated at the end of the day to sit down and create. So where do you find the time? I'm assuming you're watching this because you really want to make art, whether it's a hobby or as a career, but I still think it's important to get clear on how much it means to you in the scheme of things and why. When the issue is motivation, which it often is for me, I find it really helpful to be clear on why I'm dedicating however much time it is to this thing. Of course, making art makes me happy most of the time, but there are times when it's hard, when it's boring, and when it all seems a bit pointless. Those are the times where you can talk yourself out of doing it at all, and in those times it's good to be prepared, to have a reminder that this matters because you have something that you want to communicate and you're doing it through art, or because art is something that you can escape into, because mastering a skill is something that you've always wanted to do, or because you dream of building a career from your passion. So what is it for you? Because if this really does matter, then let's start looking at finding you some time. Now, I would recommend spending a day tracking how you're spending your time outside of work or school. Be honest and be specific. If you can, I would even try to do this for a couple of days or even a week. Have a notebook or use the Notes app on your phone, and whenever you go from one task to another, write down the time and the task you're starting. I've done this before, and it is quite eye-opening to see the hours of scrolling, of watching telly or texting or playing video games or just general faffing about. Seeing those hours add up. And I personally don't believe in this idea of constant hustle, of always doing something that means something. I do think we need downtime, we need to give our minds a break, but it helps just to put your day into perspective, if nothing else, to see that there is some time in there, even though it might not feel like it. Now, you might do this and see that there really actually isn't much time in there. You could be a single parent, you could be working 2 jobs, you could be, doing your dissertation, in which case I would look at whether you could delegate a task or 2 to someone else to free up any time, or at least to share a task or 2, and at the very least, if it's all you can do realistically, see if you can carve out an hour for art on a weekend or a day off. But you don't have to be making masterpieces, at least not all in one sitting. Sketch on the go in the in-between times. Bring your sketchbook with you and doodle on your lunch break or on a bus or on the sofa instead of watching YouTube videos, or while you're watching YouTube videos. Don't expect to be making tons of art and be discouraged when you find that you can't. Just commit to making a little bit when you can, whenever you can. Add to a painting a little at a time over the course of a few days or even weeks. You'll actually find that you're making more art because you're not putting that pressure on yourself to finish something. When you know that you haven't got time to finish it, you're probably going to find it hard to even start. But when you're just taking each little step at a time, you'll find yourself moving forward without even realising it. When you found that sweet spot of time, and it may just be half an hour before you head out for the day or before you go to bed, and when you're clear on your motivations, clear enough not to talk yourself out of trying to make it work, then the final thing to do is make the act of making art habitual. Make it as routine as brushing your teeth or grabbing your phone to scroll through Instagram first thing in the morning. I know I've done my Skillshare bit, so I will keep this brief, but if I could recommend one other class, Thomas Frank has a fantastic class on there about building habits that last. It's a good hour of real actionable steps to really make a difference in how you approach building your positive habits this year, and I think it could really change the game for a lot of you guys watching. I truly believe this year is going to see so much growth and achievement. I don't know, I just feel like we're ready for it. So let's start with finding a small slot of time that we can commit to making art a little bit at a time. Thank you for watching, guys, and thanks again to Skillshare for supporting creative channels like mine. Let me know what you thought of this video. In the future, I will try and talk a bit more about the art that I'm working on. In this case, it just felt a bit self-explanatory. And if there's anything else you'd like me to talk about in more detail like this, let me know. Check the video description for tools that I used today, the link to 2 free months of Skillshare and the classes I mentioned. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video.